And today we have a chance to enjoy the session of questions and answers. So this is a wonderful opportunity for the community to come together and ask a question of the heart, a real question. We may have discovered that we have a question in our heart during the course of the retreat, or we may have been carrying a question for a long time, a question that has to do with our suffering and with our happiness. So this is the kind of question that we like to explore, not theoretical questions, not intellectual questions. Questions from the heart. And it's very nice if you feel brave, you can come up and sit in the chair and ask your question directly. The view from here is very nice. So you can come and enjoy the view with us. If you need a translator, please bring your translator with you. So you can ask your question in your own language and have them translate the answer for you. We'll start with maybe about 4 questions for the children. If sometimes the children ask the best questions, the deepest questions. So we'd like to invite them to come up first. And each time, before asking our question, we'll enjoy one sound of the bell together. It gives us a chance just to check in, how we're feeling. Is our heart beating very fast? We're feeling nervous? That can be the one who's asking the questions, but also us. So we like to have a chance to breathe deeply in and out 3 times, and then we can ask our question. So, is anyone ready? Please come up.
¿Cuál es la historia del bosque de Budas?
Ines wants to know which is the story of the Buddha's forest, the black Buddhas on the bottom of Upper Hamlet. Buddha Hill. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your question. It's a very beautiful place, isn't it? So, it's a place that our teacher, Thay, he really liked to practice sitting meditation there. And usually we would stop in the middle of the walking meditation all together, and we would all sit down and practice sitting meditation there as a Sangha. And for many years, there were no Buddha statues there, but maybe there were lots of real Buddhas sitting there. Because Thay was sitting there, and the monks and nuns, and the lay practitioners, and the children. And we all know, maybe we're not full-time Buddhas, but we can be part-time Buddhas. So maybe sometimes when we were sitting there, we could feel very, very peaceful. Very, very still, very solid, very free. And you might be able to feel that today if you go and sit there. And in that moment, you are a Buddha. And so I think Thay saw that the Buddhas were already sitting there for a long time. And then one year we went to Indonesia. And in Indonesia they have a very beautiful tradition of making Buddha statues. And they have this beautiful black lava rock. And so somebody in Indonesia wanted to offer Thay and Plum Village these Buddha statues. So Thay accepted, and at first I think there were 8, and then Thay felt like it's not enough. We know one Buddha is not enough, but maybe 8 Buddhas is not enough. So then we had another 8, so now there's 16. Maybe 1 for each of the 16 exercises of the full awareness of breathing, so we can remember. And you can see they're all a little bit different. They have a little different expression, their fingers, their palm, their hand in a different position. So it's very nice to go and look. And Thay chose the place for each Buddha. He went walking there with the brothers one day, and they had bamboo sticks. And Thay would walk around very mindfully, and then he would plant the bamboo stick in the ground, and then move on till he felt the next place. So he chose where they should sit, so they can sit as a sangha. And you can see they're not exactly, in perfect rows, or they're a little bit, freestyle, very relaxed. And sometimes if you go there on a full moon night, in the nighttime, and if you sit down next to them, you can't tell that they're statues. They look like real people. So, and I think the story of the Buddha Hill is continuing. It's not finished. So anytime you want to go and add to the story of the Buddha Hill, you can add a new chapter. When you go there and you sit and maybe you understand yourself a little bit better, you understand your ancestors, you understand your path, your aspiration, then you are contributing to the magic of that place. And maybe somebody else, when they go there, the next time they can receive some of the energy of your practice. Thank you for your question.
He hecho esta pregunta porque me encanta ir al bosque de Budas.
I made this question because I love going to the Buddha Hill.
Comment a été construit le premier village des pruniers?
How has the first Plum Village been built?
Dear friends, it is a very wonderful question, and it will be a long, long answer. But I don't want to allow time from the audience, so it is why I will answer you briefly. And first of all, the Plum Village is made up by you, because there are many retreatants, there are many children who would like to practice, so it is why Plum Village is happening. At the beginning, when our teacher found this place, mostly he would like to help the poor people who come from Vietnam and to have the place for them to come to practice and also to nourish themselves by the Vietnamese culture. But we are not limited by the Vietnamese culture, and Thay, our teacher, very open to welcome to all the countries in the world. So slowly, there are many people from other countries come. And at that moment, Sister Chân Không and all our older sister also have to went to Saint Paul to pick the people, because at that moment the Plum Village is very remote countryside. Not many people know, so it is why they have to come there to pick our lay friends, come here to practice together. And slowly, there are many friends like you who would like to come to practice. So it is why we have Lower Hamlet and we had Upper Hamlet, and it's not place for everyone. So it is why we have the New Hamlet, and we had the Sơn Hà, and we had Maison de l'Inspire. We had the other center in US, in Hong Kong, in Thailand, in Vietnam, because not everyone can come here to practice. So it is why it is we enlarge our area. Do you want to come to Plum Village to practice? You don't know, huh? So it is the reason why Plum Village is made up. I know mindfulness when I came here. I understand more about my culture when I came here. Even I was born and grew up in Vietnam. But when I came here, I learned more about my culture. So Plum Village is an open place to learn and to practice. We learn many beautiful things from all the cultures in the world, and we would like to keep it, to maintain it, because sometimes we lose our beauty of culture we lose the beauty of our tradition. So when we come here, we have opportunity to learn the beauty of culture. We learn how to communicate. We learn how to nourish our joy and happiness. We learn how to be mindful. We learn how to transform our suffering and difficulty. And we learn how to behave well with people and to bring joy and happiness to other people. Yeah, so it is why Plum Village is made up. Thank you for your beautiful question.
¿Por qué la persona más feliz del mundo es un monje budista?
Why the happiest person in the world is a Buddhist monk?
Dear respected Thay, dear friends and dear little friend, questions asked by children is always challenging to me. First of all, I would like to thank you for bringing us very up high as happiest people. Yes, being a monastic, being a monk, is given a lot of opportunities and conditions to be happy. Because as a monastic, we have time to be with ourselves. We have time to be with our difficulties. We have time for our suffering. And when we have happiness and joy and transformation from the practice, we can offer those fruits of practice to many people. And that responsibility makes us even more happy. So you may like to try when you grow up. Of course, in the appearance, monks and nuns look very, very happy. But we do have things that we need to practice to overcome the difficulties, because as monks or nuns, we are human and we do have suffering. We do have difficulties. So, but the thing that we appreciate very much being in the monastery is that we have the practice. And whenever there's a suffering or difficulties, we apply the practice, and the practice helps. And we are not afraid of having difficulties. Thank you very much.
¿Cuándo nació Thay?
When Thay was born, when was born Thay?
Dear beloved Thay, dear beloved community, my dear friend, thank you for your question. So the easiest answer is that Thay was born in 1926 in Vietnam. So he was a child like you, and he grew up, and he wanted to bring peace to Vietnam, to his people, and also then to bring peace to everyone in the world. And so Thay just passed away in January this year, and you can see his photograph on the altar. And I hope that as you grow up, you learn more about Thay. Through all the practices, Thay is there. And so in that way, yes, there was a date that Thay was born and Thay passed away. And at the same time, you can, when you practice, you will see that Thay was never born and Thay never died. You see? Because Thay continues to be here with us. When you sit peacefully and you smile to yourself, Thay is sitting with you and smiling with you. You see? And when you play out there and you're happy, Thay is very, very happy. Yeah? And as you learn to care for yourself and love yourself, allow Thay to be there and guide you so that you can love and care for yourself. In that way, He will always be there in each one of us. Okay? So you can see Thay in the monks and the nuns, but also in the lay friends here, all over the world, and in yourself. Is that okay? Okay, thank you, Kang.
Okay, maybe this is the last question from the children.
¿Por qué la campana significa la concentración y la respiración?
Why does the bell means concentration and breathing? Why does the bell means concentration and breathing?
That's a very good question. And Actually, I asked myself that question too. When I first came to Plum Village, I was like, why are there so many bells? Surely you could be mindful of anything. Why does it always have to be a bell? Yeah, well, I don't know. So sometimes when we have a question like that, we can sit with it for a long time and maybe eventually something comes up. So I just share with you my understanding. But maybe if you continue to practice and listen to the sound of the bell, maybe you will see something else. So there's not only one answer. You have to find your own answer. So when we start to practice, we're taught that it's very helpful to become conscious of our breathing. And we know we're always breathing anyway, but somehow it makes a difference when we pay attention to our breath. So you can breathe without being aware of your breath. That's easy. It's what we do all the time. But you can also choose to notice your in-breath and to notice your out-breath. But if you try to do that a little bit, what you also notice, it is quite difficult. And after one breath or two breaths or three breaths, maybe you forget. And you start thinking about something else. So maybe over the years, people who practice like this, they found ways to help them maintain their awareness so they could concentrate for longer. And there are lots of ways to do that. But one of the ways they found is to listen to the sound of the bell. And there's something very interesting about the sound of the bell, which is that it's continuous. It's uninterrupted. So when you allow your mind to be with the sound of the bell in the present moment, you can stay with it. It's like you glue yourself to the present moment and you stay there. And then when you do that, when you pay your full attention to the sound of the bell, then there's no space for distractions or other kinds of thinking. Nothing can pull you away. Or if you do get distracted, it's very easy to come right back because the sound of the bell is still there for you to listen to. So it's like a good friend. And it can help us then to stay with this very pleasant sensation of the breath coming in, the breath going out. And we can feel very free. There's no worries, no thinking pulling us into the future or into the past. It can be very relaxing, very pleasant. And then we can ask ourselves, is the sound of the bell really coming from the bell? Or is it also coming from inside of us? It's a difficult question. But there's a part of us that wants to be aware and awake and free. So that's why our teacher sometimes says the sound of the bell is the voice of the Buddha, calling us back to the present moment. The voice of the Buddha within ourselves. The part of us that wants to wake up. Shall we try? You can listen to one sound together and see if you can stay with the sound all the time. To hear how the sound is completely continuous and see if our attention, our mindfulness can be continuous as well. And because we're all practicing listening to the bell together, it's easier. We support each other. And our collective listening can be very powerful. Okay, shall we try? I think everyone's very concentrated. It's very nice to listen to the bell together. So maybe when you go home, you can, if you like it, you can say to your parents, you can ask your parents if they'd like to get a bell. And then maybe when things get a little bit hot in the family, if someone is upset, if someone raises their voice or they get a little bit irritated, you have the right to go and invite the bell. And then everybody has to stop and they have to breathe. So you can be the bell master. Thank you for your question. So now the children are invited to stand up with the next sound of the little bell.